Well, it's personal between me and you, and I'm going to do you some serious harm, you big stiff idiot.
The untouchable True School Sports Empire proudly presents something the boxing game's been missing. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Now, I wanted to talk a little bit more about Shakur Stevenson because, you know, he's coming off of a great performance against Oscar Valdez. Pretty much, you know, in that fight, whether you want to accept it or not, to the Oscar Valdez fans out there, he made Oscar Valdez look like a C-class fighter during that performance. So he's coming off of a career best performance on the biggest stage he's fought on so far in his boxing career. And look, let's not waste no time. Let's not waste no energy. I think the fight to make at 130 is Shakur Stevenson versus Vasily Lomachenko. Now I know Lomachenko was promised a fight with George Kambosos before all this Ukraine stuff happened, but I really think that this is the best option for Lomachenko because Lomachenko he's a great fighter. You know, this is a guy that's not even like he's a small 135 pounder. You know, so the fact that he, not only is he competing at 135, but he's been dominating some of these guys at 135. It really shows you how great of a fighter he is. But the best weight for Lomachenko, a weight that he would probably love to fight at more, is 130. It's always been 130. You know, Lomachenko 130, one of the best fighters I've ever seen in my life. But I think there's a brilliant opportunity here from Top Rank to really get the fans a great fight, sort of like a passing of the torch type fight, or maybe it won't be a passing of the torch type fight. Maybe it'll be a fight where Lomachenko still shows that he's at that level to where he can beat a Shakur Stevenson. But I want to see that Lomachenko-Shakur Stevenson fight because the thing with Shakur is, right, he's probably, in my humble opinion, the best pure boxer in the sport right now. The hardest guy to hit clean. And not only that, he's also almost as great on offense as he is on defense. So he's just truly a complete fighter. You know, the narrative that he can't punch that we used to hear a couple fights ago, that should be gone by now because we saw what he did to Jamel Herring, and we saw what he did to Oscar. Oscar's face looked like a damn tomato. You know, Oscar Valdez was supposed to be the bigger puncher. You know, all we heard from his fans all fight week was, oh, Shakur Stevenson has never faced a big power puncher like Oscar Valdez. And when the lights came on and push came to shove, Oscar Valdez didn't have no answers when Shakur stood in front of him. So he showed that not only is he a great defensive fighter, but he's also probably one of the best offensive fighters in the sport. So when you get a guy like that, that's called being a complete fighter. And you know, Lomachenko is looked at as well to be one of, if not the best, pure boxer in the sport. So what better way to really test Shakur Stevenson than to put him in there with another guy who's a southpaw, with another guy that he's familiar with, who he sparred with a couple years ago in Lomachenko, and really see just how good those boxing skills are. Because the reality is this: let's just be. I'm not criticizing Shakur. I'm just telling you the facts. All the best guys he's beaten have been guys that are not A-level like technical fighters. They may be A-level in other departments, but not as far as like their technical skills. Like Oscar Valdez is not no A-level technical fighter. Jamel Herring is not no A-level technical fighter. Most of the guys he beat on the way up are guys that were more so pressure fighters, guys that like to come forward and try to bring the fight to you, which plays right into the hands of Shakur Stevenson because he doesn't get hit, none of that stuff. So I want to see him in there with Lomachenko because, you know, everybody talks about how great Lomachenko is and all this stuff, and we know that he's already lost twice. He had a controversial loss to Orlando Salido, and then he lost to my boy, South Florida's very own, Teofimo Lopez. And Teofimo Lopez did win the fight. You know, he won that fight, but there were some disputes and whatnot. I'm gonna tell you this right now: if Shakur Stevenson fight Lomachenko, ain't gonna be no damn disputes. I'll tell you right now, ain't gonna be no damn disputes if they fight because Shakur Stevenson, I've been saying it since like 2016. Shakur Stevenson is special. He's gonna go all the way and be pound number one. And to beat him, to really beat a fighter like him, you gotta be really damn good. Just to even compete, just to even win 4 rounds against him, you gotta be really damn good. And I forget beating Shakur Stevenson. I can't really remember any fight where a fighter won 4 rounds against him. So if there was a fighter at 130 that could win 4 rounds against Shakur Stevenson, I'm going to say it'd be Lomachenko. But, you know, apart from Lomachenko, I just want to throw this guy's name in there. If he probably will never fight Shakur because he's not a big name yet, and he's not like tested on that level. But in a perfect world, if I could play matchmaker, before Shakur leaves 130, I'd like to see him fight a fighter by the name of Otar Aronosian, a very good upcoming fighter from. He trains here in South Florida, but he's been getting a lot of good wins on Showbox and whatnot, and they're fast tracking him to a world title. So even if Shakur doesn't fight him, that's going to be someone that you can look at as being the next champion or top contender in the 130-pound division. I would love that fight because Shakur's fought a lot of pressure fighters and things like that, but Otar is a pressure fighter who can box as well, who has very good angles. He can punch a little bit. So I would like to see that fight, but I know it's not going to happen. But just want to throw my boy Otar's name in there because I think he's an awesome fighter, one of the most exciting fighters in boxing. Yeah, going back to Lomachenko, that's the fight to me. Like what a lot of people wanted Oscar Valdez versus Shakur to be, as far as like a great fight and a competitive fight. That's what I actually think Lomachenko versus Shakur could be. I don't have a ton of faith in Lomachenko. I think he can win maybe 4 rounds, which I think would be a huge accomplishment. But you know, that's the fight. That's the fight at 130. You know, at this point, it wouldn't even matter if Shakur goes undisputed, because the reality is he's probably not going to go undisputed, because you got Kenichi Ogawa, who's not with Top Rank, and then you got Raj Gutierrez, who's a Golden Boy. So I think the odds of him getting those fights to even have the opportunity to become undisputed are slim to none. So Lomachenko should happen, because it's a top rank. It's an in-house fight. There's no politics. Lomachenko, I believe from what I heard last time, he was just starting to train. He was training. They gave him, like, the Ukrainian government, I think, gave him like an exemption to leave the country or start training. George Campos obviously went to go fight Devin Haney. So I think he'll have some free time, and I think the Father should make that call, get the paperwork ready, and give Shakur that test, because I think Shakur Stevenson will be the pound #1 fighter in boxing at some point in his career, and that's the kind of fight that can really continue to propel his career and show what he's all about. So yeah, Shakur Stevenson versus Lomachenko, master box versus master boxer. You know, can Shakur outbox, you know, the other most technically proficient southpaw in the sport? So I'm gonna leave it at that. You guys, let me know what you think, and let me know who would win, because everybody always talks about there's a big like Lomachenko fan base on YouTube and a lot of these social media networks that always say he's this and he's that, and like don't get me wrong, he's a great fighter. I'm not taking nothing away from Lomachenko, but Shakur Stevenson is something on a whole different level. When I mean whole different level, I'm talking about he's on that tier of fighters that you guys know. Like if you guys who really watch the channel know, I always talk about like Floyd Mayweather and Chocolatito Gonzalez and the guys like Tyson Fury and Crawford, and you know, if you go to women's boxing like Sinisa Estrada, like these fighters, to me, in my eyes, as far as skills go, they're all on their own tier. They're all on their own planet, right? And I don't really see many fighters that are on that level as those fighters. Shakur Stevenson, I know people might say it's early in his career, he needs to fight better people, but I've seen enough from when he was an amateur to his whole pro career. I've seen what I needed to see, and I'm putting him on that same tier. You could even put Lomachenko on that tier, like you put the monster Inoue on that tier, but Shakur, I think, is on that top tier, that creme de la creme, the top shelf of fighters that they're almost in their own. They're on their own planet. They got their own real estate from the other fighters. They're just different. So yeah. Anyway, I've been rambling long enough. You guys, let me know what you think in the comments down below about that fight. Take the time to subscribe, and like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Dangus. So until next time, take care, guys. Thank you for watching another video on True School Sports, the home of boxing. If you made it this far, do me a favor and do yourself a damn favor. Hit that subscribe button, and surely you will not be disappointed. You know, True School Sports bringing you the latest and greatest, the untouchable, you know, boxing content, interviews, news videos, breakdowns, live fight reaction extravaganza. We've got a great community of people here. boxing fans all over the world, from America to the UK to Australia, and on and on and on. So join the empire today. Hit that subscribe button. Take care and God.